All right. So for those who does not know what's NAWALT is, usually is a MGTOW or red pill terminology calling NAWALT, NALT. Not all women are the same. Now, a lot of the community will keep saying all women are the same. I won't. So let's just focus on how I may have the key to help future you guys to understand this. Now, this actually struck me last night. This actually struck me yesterday was Australia Day 2016, 26th of January 2019. This video was made on the 27th, just to let you guys know, January. Um, ever since I've gone into a relationship and I consider her as NAWALT, right? When I went to the party, it was a work delayed Christmas party that's been pushed back to Australia Day, and the workers really like me because I'm talkative, things like that, and they're really glad that my girlfriend he found a partner because she has a very busy schedule life. And when I talk about that, is working 6 days and having one day off, and but mainly she struggled to find dating partner. She spent most of her life. I can't say her lifestyle, staying at home, looking after family members, whether it got to do with house chores or family commitments. All right, let's just put it that way. Okay. Now I know the fact that we're living in 21st century. Most of us are working so much. Now here's the key. All right, you guys might know. Actually, I can't say the key. Let's just talk about what what I think about. Okay, so a bit about a background on my girlfriend. She is Vietnamese background, and I'm from Chinese. All right, so Vietnamese is a lot more collectivism. They tend to have a bigger family than Chinese. Chinese is, as you guys know, one child policy. Even though I know nowadays it's been abolished, but let's be realistic. We don't have a big family. Even if they do, they tend to be huge in on extended families, right? But what struck me the most about last night is you know when you have work parties or things like that, then the where my girlfriend works in is very female dominated area that is like a tribe of women working together. So she works in a nail salon, so which is very typical for a lot of Vietnamese girls who work in that industry. Not complaining, I'm just saying it. I truly believe that Nowalt, it should be great if you're surrounded by a good surrounding Nowalt. Most of her work colleagues are married, or some of them are single, or things like that, which is great. It's not very toxic. Where comparison to today, many modern modernity or modern woman, individualism, and has this sort of like a feminist ideology or gender studies ideology behind them. Now, those who have come from a very conservative background who thinks differently. Anyways, let's cut to straight to the point. All right. So this is where I find is great. If you find someone who's coming from a very, many of you guys say, "Oh, I want to see my nail salon girls, this and that," but they work as a tribe. They have traditional, they have family values and things like that. And as I mentioned on my two couple videos, what sort of from a non-hypergamy to finding a relationship is to find the 3Ks. Right? Most of them, her friends are married or have kids or hardworking and things like that. They don't care about politics. They care about maintaining the family. Just feed on the family. So what happened last night is, I don't know all her workers. I only know one or two. Right. Like I said, I've just got a relationship. Today will be the anniversary, second month. It's just the fact that her 2IC, which you guys call it second in charge. So second in charge is below manager. It's been telling me if you have any single friends, could you help me set one of these workers up? She's pretty young age. She's probably 25. And I was just there. I was like, wow, I wish I had this sort of opportunity when I was single, honestly. So I started to sit back and, just see who's my friends are willing to, date or things like that with this girl. I think once you're in this dating spectrum, you try to hook up or you try to set up any relationship within your, with your bubble. Everyone's this couple. You try to hook one of your friends, the singles, to meet and mingle with the other one and joining with the couple clubs, right? So you kind of understand what I'm trying to say here. And I'm just there. I'm like, well, okay, so you got one here. So the two I see, I've met her once or twice, but I never get to talk to her. Then the manager who's right in front of me say, look, if I got girls like literally behind her, who are Australia born, ABC we call it. I can't say ABC because they're Vietnamese, but Australia born. And I look at them and they're single. She's been telling me, hey, also if you want, if you need, if you have more single guys, please hook these girls up as well. But when I look at those girls, they're a lot more modern. They're a lot more feminist. They're a lot more, getting their whip their phone out, get their filter out, and do selfies all the time. Now, be mindful, like these girls that I don't know are they workers or not. Just to let you know, from the managers, from the two IC side, I get to see her as not as what a modern woman would do, taking much selfies or try to bump up their Facebook or whatever they call it nowadays. Um, I see these are genuine like NAWALTs, like they all have traditional values, or I think this is the key way on finding a potential good way to find a NAWALT is to find those roles that worth caring or nurture or beauty. I'm not sure about like, but you have to look in deeper where they try to hit if the environment is more family orientated. It's not about like what it is today. It's about feminists or things like that. Then that's the area should where the surrounding group encourage the members of the girls to be involved, to find and mingle. And this also takes back to your grandparents or your parents or grandparents. I can't say your parents, but your grandparents' era. The only time we get to mingle or you get to introduce girls is within your local. So it's a kind of like the same thing. What I'm trying to explain to you guys with the nail salon, you try to mingle someone with your friend circle. So introduction, and during that time, your grandparents didn't have a car, or didn't have to. Maybe they still live in agriculture revolution instead, and probably just perhaps in industrial revolution, agriculture. You only know people around your suburbans instead of going through. Right now, nowadays, we have a car we can go through around the world or around the different states or city, and convenient transportation. Nowadays, dating could be a larger spectrum because nowadays dating is, you can have a tip on your finger. You can date people around the world or around your local neighborhoods or things like that. Before, dating was like introduction from your parents, on I can't say parents, but like from your family members or your friends or the local stores to say, hey, we've got this girl, she's single. If you're interested, let me know, this and that. We have lost that. And pretty sure those who marry within local tend to be a lot more sensible because if you do something really, really wrong, or if you screwed up the relationship, it looks bad on you because the whole community knows you. But now we are living in a community that you don't name and shame, or nobody knows each other because people move in and move out, or where there's high migrant or things like that. Nobody gets to know each other. Where back then people get to know each other so much, where we don't have technology, phones, you get to know your street, your neighbors, people around. Nowadays, you don't get to know people, and it's very frustration to know that. But I'm just give you guys example. But I think the key to understand one of the stuff is if you know someone who works in the industry or your family members work in the industry and it's not toxic and everyone's trying to help each other out, not partying or drinking or having fun like that way, but like try to be a good role model or be a good citizen, whether to be a motherhood or whether to be a fatherhood or whether to be a good, a role model citizen and have conservative values. That should be the right way to find the world. That is, whether it's men or women, that is the right way to do it. Instead of nowadays, I guess guys, it will be a lot difficult because of the fathers nowadays are very absent. Where there's high divorce, when there's a high divorce on marriage couples, the try to raise a boy into society is tough. Where now it's spoiled by gaming, or perhaps you guys call it Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever the games you guys call it nowadays. Um, we're living in the day that is, when you try to date local girls, you try to be best behavior as you can because you never know. Maybe your neighbors know each other and it causes trouble. But nowadays it doesn't work that way. So that's not what. That's why I would say I think that's maybe a best potential area to find. And I hope you guys do enjoy this video.